Welcome friends in our Panasonic robot training how to use the Teach-Pendent. This is the part 27 and we continue from part 26. Status output and its description. First is OPR hold output and its image is given here. OPR hold output valid invalid output terminal 0 none browse OK cancel. The signal is output to the allocated terminal only when the robot goes into a stop state, including error stop while running a program. Difference from hold state output of the status output. Auto mode, all file closed, file open, running a program in hold, error stop after restart, end of operation. OPR hold output off, holding output off. Next one is external restart input. Its image is given here. External restart input valid invalid input terminal 0 none browse OK cancel. If this input is set to valid, restart operation after the hold state is available only by inputting to the terminal allocated in these settings. Supplementary notes: when the input is set to valid, start input of the status input is not applicable in restart operation. This input is applicable only in auto start method. The input is ignored in manual start method. Restart won't be executed when the hold input is on. Restart won't be executed in override state in teach mode. Restart won't be executed if the program in hold state is closed. In case there is a running program in parallel, the program reserved after may be restarted. Please refer to the following figure. Example 1. Number select method. Program A. Program C reserve end. Paracall. Program B hold. Program C reset restart. Example 2. Master method. Program A paracall. Program B hold restart. Program A auto open end. Another one is start permission input. Its image is also given here. Valid manual and auto program start is enabled only when the specified input received the start permission input. If the start permission input is turned off during starting operation, the robot goes into an error stop. Next one is restart permission output. Its image is also given here. An output to indicate whether it is operation after the hold state in auto mode or not valid. The output is turned on when the robot is started in auto mode. When the robot reaches a dot point, forward backward operation in teach mode, the output is turned off when the running program is closed. When the cursor is moved, a command is edited or manual operation is executed in teach mode. Another one is OPR standby input. Here one precaution is given of danger. This symbol shows do not enter the safety fenced area while the robot is in the operation standby state. The robot is in operation mode during operation standby state. OPR standby inputs images given here. It is an eco-friendly input. It turns off servo power and puts the robot in operation standby state. When the robot is in operation standby state, it is possible to resume operation by turning on servo power and restarting. Traveling stop type specify how the robot goes in the OPR standby state. Hold and servo off. Slow down to stop operation and then turn off servo power. Servo off. Turn off servo power just like emergency stop. With welder unit turned off. Available only to towers robots. It is also turns off towers welding power unit. Note: the OPR standby input is not accepted in teach mode. When the robot is in auto mode, it is not possible to turn on the servo power while this input is on. Due to software processing, it is not possible to use this input as safeguard, an input to prevent servo power to be turned on. With towers robots, when the robot servo power is turned off, power to the wire feeder is also turned off. Another one is speed limit input outputs. Its image is also given here. Description: it is an input to limit travel speed while the input is on. It is useful in the return to origin operation after an error condition. Then the robot can travel back to the origin safely at the temporarily limited speed. When this input is turned on during operation, the robot's travel speed is limited to the preset travel speed. Then the specified speed limit output is turned on, and then the applied speed is displayed on the status bar lower right of the teach pendant. In teach mode, it is not possible to limit the travel speed and the speed limit output is turned off. Note: the input limits the speed to the preset speed only while the input is on. As soon as the input is turned off, the robot moves at the programmed travel speed. If the actual traveling speed is lower than the preset speed limit, turning this input on does not switch the speed. If the preset speed limit is lower than the actual traveling speed, the robot stops its movement for a moment at speed switching, which may affect bead shape if it is during welding operation. The speed limit output goes on whenever the speed limit input is turned on. It doesn't relate to the speed. The input is activated when the mode select key is switched to teach during override operation. Turning on of this input while welding stops the operation for a moment. Due to the timing of switching speeds which may affect welding bead shape, the input is effective in the external axis remote control operation. The input is effective during error recovery operation. For a system using the multi-cooperative robot control, if the speed limit input of the master robot is turned on, the speed of the slave robot is also limited during the line connection status. Next one is error input. Its image is also given in description. An input to the bring stop the robot operation to an error stop immediately after the occurrence of a specified error or trouble in external equipment. Specify an error from the error codes E1910 to 1919. Specify an input terminal to be used as error input and enter comments to be displayed at the occurrence of the error. The setting item skip this error in teach mode is selectable in teach mode. Supplementary notes: the errors specified here are recorded in the error history when the error input is switched from off to on. If the error input chatters, that is switches on off repeatedly, the error may be kept recorded in the error history. Occurrence of this error won't turn off the servo power. Manual and trace operation are available while the error input is in the on state. A program won't be started if the error input is on. If the error input remains on, the robot goes in the error input error state. If the error input is turned on during program test operation, error state, regardless of the setting status of skip this error in teach mode. Next one is wire output. Wire output's image is given here. The specified output is turned on while wire is fed. This signal can be used to monitor the wire feed status. It is possible to specify output terminals for wire feed forward plus and backward minus separately. Specify either gas on-off state or torch on-off state you want to turn on in synchronism with the wire output during operation. Note: if neither one of them is selected, the wire output may not be turned on even though the wire is actually fed. Another one is hold input logic. Its image is given here. It is to use the hold input as normally closed input. Select whether the logic to be either positive logic or negative logic. Arc on output, and its image is also given here. The output that is turned on while executing welding operation to notify that the arc is on. Select retain the on state at hold to keep the output on if the robot goes into a stop including hold. Error stop and emergency stop during welding operation. The setting has a priority over the hold setting of the user input output terminal settings. Usage: first, use it to identify whether or not the arc is on state by turning on the externally provided lamp during welding operation. Second, use it to keep the arc on instead of bringing the robot in the hold state when a subtle error occurred, as stopping the robot in the middle of welding operation can cause poor welding result. Third, use it as an interlock to bring the robot to an error state if the shading curtain during welding operation. Here you can see output on, output off, arc start point, arc on, weld section, arc endpoint, arc off. Instead of stopping the robot at the arc endpoint, you can program to stop the robot at the next dot point after the arc endpoint. That is to keep the arc on output until the next dot point after the arc endpoint. Supplementary notes: as the arc on output is turned on after detecting the arc generation, there may be a slight delay in turning on the output. If this output is used with flying start function as the arc on output interlocks with arc generation, the output status may be switched a little bit before the robot reaches the target dot point. While the robot is in the arc lock state, as there is no arc generation, the arc on output won't be turned on. When written the on state at hold is set to on, the output remains on if the robot goes into a hold state during welding operation at that time. If the arc lock is applied, the output is turned off. In that case, releasing the arc lock does not turn on the output. The output is turned on when the arc is generated next. Even though the retain the on state at hold is set to on, the arc on output is turned off if the mode is switched to teach mode while the robot is in hold state. At that time, switching the mode back to auto does not restore the arc on output. However, if the override icon has been turned on before switching the mode to teach mode, the arc on output is retained. When retained, the on state at hold is set to on if the operation is forced quiet by closing the stopping program. The arc on output is turned off. In case that a robot controls multiple welders simultaneously, such as multi-welders function, the arc on output is turned on as long as any one of the welders is in welding operation. Even though retain the on state from the arc endpoint to the next dot point is set to on. If there is no mechanism in the running program, the arc on output is turned off at the arc endpoint. The instantaneous no arc doesn't turn off the arc on output. However, as the instantaneous no arc brings the robot to a hold state, the arc on output state depends on the retain the on state at hold setting. In multi-cooperative robot control, the arc on output status of a slave robot depends on the settings of the slave robot. Next is battery consumed output. Its image is given here. The specified output is turned on at power on if the motor battery of the manipulator on or an external axis runs out. Normal mode output's image is given here. Its description is the specified output is turned on if the controller starts in normal condition. It is turned off if an alarm goes off. Correcting the error doesn't turn off the output. It is turned off when the power is in turned off. It is turned on in the same timing as the ready output. When the power is turned on, it is not turned on if the controller is in on one of the following modes when the power is turned on: encoder reset mode, overrun release mode, skew error recovery mode, forced origin adjust mode. Next one is warning output. Warning output's image is also given here. The specified output is turned on when a warning is indicated. The output is in the on state while indicating the warning and then turned off when the warning is cleared. Note: the output is not turned on when a warning about the safety circuit, such as spared emergency stop and panel emergency stop, and warning arising from hold or pause command is indicated. Next one is teach pendant switch status output. Its image is also given here. Teach mode output. A signal is output when the mode select switch of the teach pendant is in the teach mode. Auto mode output. A signal is output when the mode select switch of the teach pendant is in the teach side. Brackets mark the checkbox, then the following processing will be executed. First, in auto mode, if the override is on, the robot stays in auto mode even though the mode select switch is switched to teach side. Second, in multi-cooperative robot control condition, If the slave icon is used to put the robot in the slave state, regardless of the mode, select switch setting of the slave robot. The mode specified by the mode select switch of the master robot is applied. When the robot is in slave icon auto connection state, neither of the mode teach auto modes outputs is turned on. In cases where a master robot is connected, if the master robot is in teach mode, regardless of the mode select switch setting of the slave robot, the slave robot turns on the teach mode output. In the same way, if the master robot is in auto mode, the slave robot turns on the auto mode output. So friends, here we end this part of Panasonic robot training, and further information we will discuss in our next video.